LaxFactor podcast. This week's Ask Ted, what do I think about the new crease dive rules? And I think they blew it again. I think that they picked my number two choice. I had two solutions. Number one solution, just unlock it. No more diving towards the mouth, just unlock it. Players can dive into the crease and score goals. And if you feel that the player egregiously bashes into a goaltender, throw a flag anyway. Maybe like the NFL or like in the NBA or college basketball, maybe the goal could still count, but you still get a penalty for making contact with the goalie. I mean, I'm not sure how that should work. There's got to be something to a degree to protect the goalies, but I don't think you need all these extra lines in the crease and all these rules about trajectory. I think it's just a matter of, you know, how bad was the goalie impact? Make that the judgment call, because they can judge that quickly and decide. They can get together and decide. But by adding this new rule, now it didn't make it any better. They already had to kind of figure out what the player's momentum was in his trajectory and where he was going. They just didn't have this extra little crease around the middle of it. So I feel like they've got it. They made it better. I think you do at least remove one of the problems, and that's where in this crease, you know, and where's the fine line between encroaching on the goalie's space and not. So I think in terms of trying to fix it that way, I think they did an okay job. I think where they got it wrong is it's just not that much simpler. We still have a really rough judgment call that these guys have to make. We still have weird rules. Now we have two creases. You know, it's just a weird thing. I would have liked to just seen them just get rid of all of that. Just let the players dive and then decide after the fact, hey, that one was a little bit too aggressive to the goalie, a little bit too much contact with the goalie, and make that the judgment call. Like, you're making them make a judgment call now. Why not make them just make one judgment call? It isn't a judgment call trying to decide, did they touch the crease? Did they land in the crease before they scored? None of that's a judgment call. That's objective. You either saw it or you didn't, and they can call it accordingly. Now they have all these weird judgment calls though, with trajectory and with the second line and where they pushed and blah, blah, blah. Just do away with all of that and make the only judgment call was there too much contact with the goalie. You know, like kind of like in the NFL where you have hits that are a little bit too rough. If you're hearing noises out here, we got some cats and they're probably jacking with the door. So moral of the story, I think it's better a little bit because they did take one of those judgments away from the officials, but there's still too many moving pieces in it. I think it would have still been better to remove all hindrances and simply make it, you can dive, you can land in the crease, you can even make contact with the goalie to a degree. If that contact is too egregious, that's where the judgment call comes into play. I think that's the best way to do it. The reality is these officials aren't snowflakes, and sports lacrosse world is, with this rule specifically, has tried to treat them like snowflakes. And maybe it's the officials want things to be clearer, but I think you're going to be hard pressed to find an official that says, yeah, I like this. So maybe that's a video I'll do. I know a bunch of officials, so maybe I can start pinging a bunch of the college officials that I do know that all do D1, and I can ask them what they think about it, and I'll report that back to you. But my opinion, it's better a little bit, but I think that it would have been even better if they just removed all other rules, just let them dive. The only rule is ball has to cross the plane before you touch, and if they decide that the contact with the goalie is egregious and could have been avoided, that's where they could issue a penalty. But no one's listening to me, even though they picked one of my two solutions, and they didn't hear me talk about it. It's just common sense, I think. So that's where I'm at with that. So as always, thank you for listening. Again, the best way that you can help us out, like that video, smash that like button. That seems to help us a great deal. Share the video on social media with all your homies. That's the best way you can help us. But if you have a little bit more in you, you can go to LaxFactor.com, get yourself t-shirt, hats, coffee mugs, all sorts of other swag. You can watch all these videos here, listen to the audio version, and all of that good stuff. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and Hoost is out.